What's up, Twitch chat? What's up, YouTube in the future? Playing through some 4-color shadows. This is a list that won a challenge like 2.5 weeks ago. A list by a user named Magic Tim. Hadn't played 4-color in a minute. Thought this would be an interesting place to start it off. This list is way more into like this expressive iteration, questing druid, maxing out. Then I normally go with 4-color lists, but as we can see, it does have a very, very low curve with nothing past 2 mana. Sideboard, some Spell Pierces, Dress Downs, Turok, Magus of the Moon. Let's pull the rest of the sideboard over because maybe y'all want to see that. Yeah, too far over. Too far over. Giganta is a companion, EE, blah, blah, blah. But the main deck, like Ragavan, only 3 copies, 4 Channeler, 3 Bowmaster, 4 Shadow, 3 Questing Druid, 3 Drown in the Lock, 4 Expressive Iteration, 4 Unholy Heat, then like a Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Terminate Split. So pretty interesting list. Like, not necessarily how I'd build 4-color, but as always, I think it's worth it to check other lists as well because you never know if you could be doing something better if you don't try it. So let's update Stream Decker. Should be good to go now. There we go. Stream Decker's updated. Deck list has gone over. Recording has started. So let us jump into the league. Go ahead and throw up our magic background. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to play in the challenge tonight or tomorrow morning. Might be able to play in tomorrow afternoon's challenge. Possibly. We'll see. Don't hold me to it. Oh. Before I forget. I don't know if this will fit over the headphones. We're gonna... Yeah, we'll roll with it. Kind of sits over a little bit. Makes me feel like my cranium is massive. Right before we punt away 7 different games. But if you're like me, All Access Pass is up right now on Magic Online until like January 3rd or something. So I'm probably going to be rocking a bunch of different decks between now and then. Thoughtseize, DRC, Shadow. Pretty good opening hand. See what our shock land situation looks like. We've got Blood Crypt, Steam Vents, Watery Grave, Stomping Ground. So Stomping Ground, Watery Grave gives us all our colors. But if we go Stomping Ground, Watery Grave, we cannot Thoughtseize plus Shadow unless we Thoughtseize on turn 1 and like Channeler on turn 2 Shadow. So I think we're going to keep... We'll Blood Crypt, Channeler, and then next turn we can decide like Watery Grave, Bolt, Shadow, or Watery Grave, Thoughtseize plus Shadow. Okay, Gemstone Caverns, so I'm assuming like Rhinos. So maybe I want to lead on turn 1 Thoughtseize instead of turn Walking Ballista. Okay, so Hardened Scales. The no basic Stipping Cube in the deck is Slapper Pile. I don't believe you. Alright, Hardened Scales, Hardened Scales, Hardened Scales. So now I'm even more interested in like turn 1 Thoughtseize, but if I turn one Thoughtseize, I'd have to like Steam Vents the Channeler plus Bolt. This could get awkward. What on earth is this? What the hell am I playing against? Tron lands, Pithing Needle in the main, Walking Ballista. They ditched a Walking Ballista to Gemstone Caverns. The Might Stone and Weak Stone. Draw 2 cards. Our creature gets -5/-5. Have to add 2 colorless. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. I don't know. I'm scared and confused. Power plant. Okay. Oh, the trifecta. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome, what is it, Friday? All right, second Thoughtseize is good. Just go Thoughtseize. They rip Tron, so we'll take Might Stone. Play Shadow. I love them ripping natural Tron here. That's a lie. I don't love it at all. Okay. Mishra's Bauble. Let's go. We can get another Blood Crypt. So we'll go Channeler to hand, Arn to exile. Or we could get a Steam Vents. Probably Steam Vents. Back. Missing Tron land and the payoff are both always on top of the library. Absolutely true. Okay. What are we dead to? Not dead to that. Upkeep. We will Lightning Bolt. Try to maybe flip over Delirium. That does flip over Delirium. So 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. No reason to keep the Questing Druid. Math. I think I'm just binning this. Yeah, so that's lethal. Yeah. Woo. Okay. Game 2 against something with Tron lands and stuff and spells and things. Don't really know what's going on. Spell Pierce is okay. K Command's okay. Magus is good. Terra Sunder is probably good. We saw Saga. So maybe I want to consider Dress Down a little bit more. EE could be okay. Like, any of these could be in, like, B tier bring-ins. Don't really care for Terminate. I care for so many, if any, Unholy Heats. Definitely don't want Push. Kind of got to decide on how much I'm leaning into the Tron side versus the Saga side versus the Walking Ballista side. Let's say I'd cut all of those. Maybe 4. Do like that. Not thrilled about it. If this were like more straightforward Green Tron, I'd be higher on Spell Pierce. But the funkier the Tron gets, the worse Spell Pierce gets. I believe this is a trap hand. We'll have turn 1 Channeler, turn 2 like Bowmaster ping ourselves, and the shadows still aren't online. I'm gonna ship it. This is much better. Back in iteration, get to keep turn 1 Ragavan. If we want to fetch or not. I don't think I really want to drown in the lock. Nope. Basilisk Collars. They're just like all in on Walking Ballista shenanigans. Oh yeah. Urzasaka's a pretty good rip. Basilisk Collar, Mystic Forge. Let us take both of those things. Or Karn, Mystic Forge. Leave them with Basilisk Collar. They just get a Saga? They did. Weird flex, but okay. Three Sagas gone. Broke set of hands. Stomping Ground to exile. Shadow. Say go. I could iteration for a land. Or for like an interaction piece. Let's attack. Do have... Do have Terra Sunder in the deck, so you need to think about that. That's pretty alright. So go Dress Down to hand. Blood Crypt to the bottom. Thoughtseize to exile. Take a look at what you got. Taking Mystic Forge, right? This, like, incentivizes them pretty heavily to get Walking Ballista, and if they go for Walking Ballista, we just get to Dress Down, kill the Construct, kill the Ballista. Oop. My Ballista does not enter with a counter. Straight to the graveyard with you. Be gone, Satan. Be gone. Nice. Little 1-0 start. See what we got for match number 2. Hopefully something equally as entertaining. This is the Death Shadow deck on Moto. Still don't think Question Druid's good. Think Mardu Shadow is king at the moment. You think Mardu Shadow is king? Interesting. Interesting. Or Tron usually Blast Zone. I don't know if they're playing Blast Zone when they're running like Basilisk Collar. Spin, Cedar, spin. Yeah, we'll keep it. All right. Go Stomping Ground, Channeler. Bobble. Got a list if I like. You're welcome to send it. Terminate A. So let's crack in with Channeler. I know they've got a Snapcaster Mage. Probably some amount of like Flame of Anor. If I had to take a guess. Titan MTG coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome everybody. Currently playing through some 4-color Death Shadow. 1-0 in the current league. Hopefully resolving a a questing druid, or at least a seek the beast. Hope you had an awesome stream. What'd you end up playing? Anything interesting? Counterspell, yep. Rogues is a good hit. Let's do that one. Played Red Black Scam again after some time. Not that great today, though. Well, it's unfortunate that it didn't go too great today. I feel like I have been running into that deck a lot recently, so it's doing something right.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. Whether you're making a traditional roasted turkey or spicy turkey tacos, your go-to.
All right, just gonna go ahead and fetch up a tap Blood Crypt, so don't play into like Tishana's here. Yeah, take it easy. Thanks again for the raid. Welcome everybody from Titan MTG stream. If it's your first time here, my name's Michael, Cntrlfreak on Magic Online. Play a lot of Modern, especially a lot of Death Shadow. So if that's something that interests you, hopefully you come to an acceptable place. Maybe not. Who knows? Needed that land for Titan. I guess we're just adding Giganta. Come here, boy. All right, let's check out this this Mardu Shadow list. That's a whole lot of one-ofs. 1 Mana Tithe, 1 Pending, 1 Dismember, 1 K Command, 1 EE, 1 Nihil Spellbomb, 1 Fable. Jace, happy Friday to you as well. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. Let's see. No copies of Thoughtseize. Oh, sorry. Sorry, there is Thoughtseize. I'm just blind. Grog Sadalthi, Ragavan, Bowmaster. Fracture. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. Plague Engineer. Solemnity. Players can't get counters. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. That's a pretty funny way of dealing with the One Ring. I'll give it that. Vanishing Verse. Exile a monocolored permanent. Does hit a reasonable amount of stuff. 5 cards in hand, one of which I know is a Snapcaster. Go to kill that, just in case they value having the wizard more. I don't think they would, but never know. Solemnity, Hoses, Hardened Scales, and Yawgmoth. How does that work with... If they have an undying effect or an undying creature with Solemnity, does it just come back without the counter and they can like infinitely sack it because it never gets the counter on it to stop it from coming back with a persist? That seems kind of awkward. Oh. Let me resolve stuff. Yeah, Flame of an Ore, draw 2. Okay. I guess we are going for Broxa. Start trying to do this. Black, red. Land, 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 sorcery. Subtlety, my Croxa. That's not a wizard. You have lied to me. Yeah, is this not just like let them undying over and over again as much as they want? Or am I missing something there? Flame of Anor again? They did. Flame of Anor once more for a second time. Ow. Oh yeah. And now that Revolt is enabled. Oh yeah. Go. Flash in another subtlety? Nope. Okay. Oh, how the mighty have fallen when we see Sven splashing a third color in his beloved blue-red decks. Is this a wizard? Please tell me this isn't a wizard. Flips into a land. Alright. Black, red. Creature. Instant. Should be one short of keeping Delirium, so artifact, keep creature, sorcery, hit the instance. Yeah. Croxa. The only thing I can think of, since you can't put counters on things, you can't activate, but I don't think that's how it works because it says up to one creature, placing of counters. Mutavault. Out here, Mutavault. So go away. Again. Things, can't put counters on things you can't activate. Are you talking about Soul Cauldron? I was talking about just coming back from Persist in general. Like if they sack something to Yawgmoth that has Persist, would it just come back as like, say, a young wolf just come back as a 1/1, no +1/+1 counter on it, and you can just keep sacking it? See what I'm doing there? Sacking. Alright. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value 3 or less, deals 1 damage. I kinda... This isn't a wizard. I'm gonna kill you. black. Kill you. Untap. Croxa. Black, red. 2, 3, 4, 5. Have no wizard, Harry. Go to 4. Pass. Okay. Yeah! Croxa! Deck has Dolphy in the Leyline of the Void for Yawgmoth. Yeah, I mean, like, even if Solemnity doesn't work how you want, you do have a lot of stuff for Yawgmoth. I still don't know if I would say Mardu is, like, the best option. It's good. It's fine. But it's all going to be, like, player dependent. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're not playing in a manner that's befitting of the variation that you choose, it's not going to work out how you want it to. All right, let me go search up this Osier. What's the name of this thing? You know, like Osier Axonil. Osier Axonil. And then this is the one that, like, if anything deals less than 4 damage, it deals 4. If a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than Osier Axonil's power to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to Osier Axonil's power instead. So that little, like, Viper dude, if it pings and you got the Osier out, it deals 4 instead of 1. That's pretty terrifying. Terrace Under exiles it, so maybe I want that. I gotta come up with 6 cuts. Trim like a rag or 2 on the draw. Ugh, I'm a little afraid. Little afraid, little afraid, little afraid. We'll see. Maybe our opening hand has Croxa again. No, but we've got Thoughtseize and a Shadow and a K command. I don't love it. I love it a little more. Slightly more love. Minor misstep. You got it. At what point do we just play 4 Croaks and drop the Shadows? Probably should have been a while ago, but here we are. We are persistent, if nothing else. Gonna play around Tidebinder again. I don't even know if they're playing Tidebinder. I just feel like it's kind of free to play around. So I'm going to. Yeah! I don't know what we did. I'm guessing they have a handful of red cards, no counter spells, and no red mana. Is what I am assuming. Either way, 2040. and Sven Sven played in like a winning in or something, the top 8 of a challenge a little while ago, and we had an epic match, and Croaks single-handedly won that one then as well. So, want to beat Control? Croaks is a pretty good way to do it. The convenient 5 power or 5 toughness requirement for Flame of Venor not help against Croxa. On the die roll. Nice. Let's see. Ooh. On one hand, turn 2 Shadow. On the other hand, turn 2 Shadow and literally nothing else. My assumption is we're going to throw this back and we're going to get just an absolutely unkeepable 6. Put it to the test. Okay, never mind. Pleasantly surprised. Am I just throwing back Unholy Heat, or am I throwing back Bobble? No, I'm keeping Thoughtseize Shadow, double fetch. If I think they're on something interactive, I'll just throw it back. That way we can bobble to inform our Thoughtseize decision. Summoner's Pact. One might say Primeval Titans are in our near future. One might be correct. A lot of amulets. A lot of amulets. Saga, Amulet, yep. Okay, let's if I play out Shadow, Bounce Land, Summoner's Pact, Dryad, Waves from Valakut, Act Azusa, Bounce Land, Bounce Land, Bounce Land. Play out the Shadow and try to like Questing Druid into a Thoughtseize next turn. Arboreal Grazer. Curse your cute sloth-like appearance. We know that deep inside you beats the heart of a killer. We got. I don't know what you're hitting, but it's pretty annoying. What? Probably busted somebody's eardrums. Probably do need to look for a Thoughtseize. Cam went up. It'll stay up. We're we're here for the great angles of the ceiling. I think the monitor like turned sideways slightly too. Well, let's see. Questing druid. What's the like just thought seize is the only thing that really does much. Holy heat with no delirium. Might as well cast it. Here, super mega ultra dead. Bounceland. Titan. Maybe there's a chance they drew Hasteland. Survey says. Survey says they did not draw Hasteland. All right. Back in. We take 10. We go to -1. Shadow becomes a 14/14. We draw Fetch Land. Fetch Shock. Shadow becomes a 17/17. Or no, we would have to find Expressive Iteration into Fetch Land Bolt. Fetch Shock to -3. Bolt ourselves to -6. Shadow's a 19/19. No, Shadow's. Fetch Shock to -4. Bolt ourselves to -7. Shadow's a 20/20. Easy. Easy. All right. Amulet Titan. Amulet Titan. Amulet Titan. Be smart. Quick maths. Push, meh, heat, meh, Bowmaster, mega, meh, drown, meh. I could have sworn I had something in the sideboard. I've forgotten what it was. Cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. I would love to play first. Well, this does answer... Does answer amulets. Not a great hand. If I'm mulling, what am I looking for? Thoughtseize. Ragavan. It's myself. Here's Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize into Iteration. Throwback terminate. What you got? Generous int. I think that's just a forest cycle, right? Sees. Amulet. This is also one of those matches that I like really miss Tarmogoyf as just another way to put a bunch of pressure on your opponent. Drop the most mana inefficient channeler ever. The pain. The pain. Really like that land. Spelunking. ETB. Draw a card. Put a land into play. And the Grazer. Judge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they've got Titan next turn. Thou mocketh me. Thou make a mockery of everything I hold dear. You're hard casting an int instead of casting a Titan. I guess with a couple channelers that have to attack, it's like not the worst thing in the world. Keep it. Keep it. Here's a shadow. Oh.
Welcome to Fidelity Bloom, a new app and debit card that helps you save while you spend. Picture this, a save account and a spend account working in perfect harmony.
Ads. Take it. How do I dig for third land? What's the third land doing for me? Like to Magus? By Magus, while they've got the int out, and my shadows are only 2/2s and I can't grow them. Pretty meh. That is, in fact, a very hideous magic card. Oh, they got more of them. Ah. So much hideous. A little time. If I land here, that could be good, though. Bullish. Aha. Got them right where we want them. Opponent doesn't even know they're in danger. Out here eating food. Struggling through a game of Magic, they're just eating like it's nothing. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. And you've got the Valakut. Okay. You have another land? Yeah, you do. Alright. GG's. GG's. Really, really, really miss Tarmogoyf from those matches. Just sitting there with like channelers and Ragavans feels so awful. I want to get the game over with. I want to poke my opponent for 2 like an angry bee. Maybe we get something cool for round 4. I'm going to take a guess and say... I'm going to say scam. There's no Tarmo. I'm aware. It's not my list. But I want Tarmo. Want Tarmo bad. Alright. What was my guess? Scam. Trap hand. Back-to-back trap hands. Like, if we went turn 1 Channeler and our opponent played a turn 1 Ragavan, this could be good. I feel it's kind of unlikely, so I'm going to ship it. Alright. Land, Thoughtseize iteration. Hand's perfect. Hand's perfect. Couldn't possibly come up with a way this hand loses. Not a single one. Good old living end, eh? Alright. I can come up with zero possible scenarios where this goes awry for us. Hold on. Let him cook. Let him cook. Like halfway curving out on our bowl of 4. It's gone. We're going to take Wakers so they can't like dig for a force of negation. Oliphant. They upkeep Oliphant. All right. I believe this is going to resolve. All right. All right. Been better. They've totally got nothing. 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 Not a thing. Okay, opponent has confirmed that they are in fact on living in. So let's go to game 2 and not mole to 4. Got Pierces to bring in. Urok on the play. Could bring in Magus just for the potential Blood Moon cheese. Dress down, I don't hate against Grief. Board out a whole bunch of removal. Probably just board in the extra dress down. All right. Crux is fine. It can create like some awkward loops. I wouldn't run more than one of them, but the first one's not bad. Okay. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Double Shadow. Got Force of Negation. Brazen Borrower. So I could just take the Shardless Agent. Make them find another one. I could take the Int as a guaranteed land drop, but I'm not killing them before they living in kill me. Drown is good. Ironically, Drown almost makes me wish I had left them with the Shardless Agent. So they would have to sorcery speed their living in. Because now if they find a Violent Outburst, they could outburst on my turn, protect it with Force. That would be bad for the home team. Hmm. Like winnable. Nothing's winnable until your opponent's at 0. We get to that point, I'll say it seems winnable. At the moment, there's plenty of ways they can draw out of this. For example, like land violent outburst. I can't beat right now. If I go for expressive iteration and like whiff on a land, I could just be dead. So let's crack in. Just gonna hard cast the Ragavan. Turn 1 Ragavan, you're late. It's turn 3 Ragavan at this point. So far behind. Dent. All right, Architect's gone. You still have a Brazen Borrower. Got a Forest. So if they have Violent Outburst, they can Outburst plus Force. Ooh, I like to see that. Not so much that one. Not so much that one. Does anybody remember off the top of their head what day the ban announcement was on? I want to know if it was before or after this list won the challenge. December 5th. Okay, so I think that was after this list won the challenge. I was wondering because of the spell pierces in the board, they're like really good against the Beanstalk deck. Not so much against like Living End and the Cascade variants. So I was thinking if it was before then, if this list top 8'd before that point, that would make sense. All right. So we're gonna iteration again. Look for a Bolt, Thoughtseize, Spell Pierce. Any of those things, unless they're gonna force the expressive iteration. If they force the iteration, I just play the Shadow and say go. Muffin, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Friday wherever you're at in the world. Yo, how are the games today? We're currently 2-1. We lost to Titan round 3. We beat Blue-Red Control and forgot what round 1 was. Spell Pierce. Yo. We're going to game 3 against Living End. Not really anything I'm interested in changing. Roll it back. Yeah, the list is from a player named Magic Tim that won a challenge with it way back towards the beginning of the month. And I was just asking when the ban announcement happened because we go over here to Shadow. This is the list that shows up on December 3rd. So if the ban announcement happened the 5th, then this list was played before Beanstalk got banned, which I think explains like the Spell Pierces in the board instead of something like Flusterstorm. Not like a huge deal. That's a huge deal. Well, we're on the draw. If we rip straight lands, a lot better. Opponent almost skipped through their turn. That cube was so sad. Why'd you have to remind me of that? I made like a really janky storm deck and proceeded to like not do storm things. Did a couple times. Like pretty alright. Sinar, if you have a choice of a version of Shadow for a big event, do you choose Jund, Grixis, or Temur? Me personally, in current Modern, I'm probably picking Jund more often than not. There's a few factors that go into that, like what do I expect to see? If I'm expecting a more like control mid-rangey meta, then Jund looks better. If I'm expecting more combo, then like Temur looks better. Grixis. There's not a whole lot of metas that are like really favorable to Grixis. You're kind of like not aggressive enough to really outdo the combo variants. You're not like control-y enough or, to deal with everything else. Really, really in between. Just sad. But we get it. Violent outburst. We could outburst into a Thoughtseize. Throwing ideas out there. I think we're going to have to iteration here because I need to try to find like a Spell Pierce or a Thoughtseize. They go, which undoubtedly gives away the fact that I've found something, but what you gonna do? Really hoping it was Outburst and not Shardless. All right. Thoughtseize off the top. Thoughtseize off the top. Not quite. Let's wing in with Ragavan, trade off with the Shardless Agent. We do have Delirium, so we can play Darcy, say go. They don't have another Cascader. Likelihood is fairly low. Gonna play, yeah. Cycling does trigger Turok. Not cycling makes Turok a sad boy, so... Dash Ragavan. Rankin. Either they block the Rag and take 3, or they block the Channeler, take the Rag. Oliphant. I hardly know her. Let's get down another Channeler, say go. And we'll just plan on, like, kicking Turok if we're still alive next turn. You don't want to attack? Is there a world where I would rather dash Rag, hold up Shadow? Probably not. Boink. You do get to scry off this Curator a couple times. Yeah, Turok's not the worst if you play it out like turn 2 on the play and let your opponent cycle into it. But like a late game Turok's not really doing a ton. I'm only doing it here because A, we don't really have anything else worth doing. And B, if they're just like sandbagging something, then I could potentially get the sandbag out of hand. Maybe their hand is like double Force of Negation. We get those out of hand, they get a couple scries. And if they whiff, maybe we can find like a Drown and get to cover the top deck Cascader. Well, we're going to turn off auto yield if they're going to Besage me. That lets me put a whole nother threat down. They did have the Force Negation. They scried to the bottom twice. Anything against Unmoored Ego? I'll answer in two parts. One, I don't really mind Unmoored Ego as a card. Like, turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Ego, obviously pretty good. It doesn't play well into Force Negation, being sorcery speed, usually requiring you to tap out. And it's even worse that if you don't have turn 1 Ragavan, it's too slow 50% of the time. So, like, I don't like effects like Ranger Captain of Eos and things like that, where you say, all right, 50% of the time I'm on the draw, 50% I'm on the play. Those games that I'm on the draw, they're doing the thing on turn 3. So I only have 2 lands out. So it's actually just too slow to stop them on the draw if they go for it. And I think that's kind of like a waste if you have an effect that is too slow 50% of the time. Obviously, if you resolve it, it's fantastic. And you're like, big brain. So if they drew dead, they have to block the shadow here. I guess they don't have to. They could block the Turok. Yeah. If Ragavan was 1 bigger, they'd have to block the shadow, but they can block the Turok. Yep. This is dealing 6 currently. I have to fetch and shock to make it lethal. Lethal next turn, I mean. I'm dead if they have an Endurance. Is there 1 card in hand? Yeah. Show me an Endurance. Endurance. I'm not technically dead to a Violent Outburst, but I'm dead to a Violent Outburst. Curator, Cycle Curator. Ride to the top, so it's either another Cycler or it's a Living End. Which one you got? You know my hand. Maybe they put another Curator on top. They're Living End or another Curator. Are you really upkeeping the Outburst instead of just casting it? You know my hand. You know what I've got. Just cast the Outburst. Get to grief away the Ragavan anyway. It's fine. It's fine. What's your Gen Shadow list look like? Currently something along the lines of... Not that one. That one. Somewhere along the lines of this. We could have drawn Bolt. Bowmasters wouldn't have done it. We had 4 mana, so we couldn't expressive iteration into double Bowmasters. Yeah, we could have seen another draw step. Yes, grief upkeep, so your creatures are summoning sick, but probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think it matters. It's pretty sick with Smuggler's Copter and Pioneer. Yeah, but Pioneer doesn't get Lightning Bolt. That's a pretty big piece to keep Smuggler's Copter stocked down. I'm sitting here at 1%. All right, what do we got? Round 5. Opponent's triple queuing and a Pioneer Challenge and a Vintage Cube Phantom Draft. A lot of stuff. Am I playing any of the showcase events this weekend? I saw... What was it? Pioneer... I was thinking about maybe doing like one of the Pioneer Super Qualifiers. Maybe one of them, since the modern ones are like next week and not this weekend, I could probably do one of those. Maybe both, who knows? I got a whole mess of play points sitting around. Bit of Lorian revealed. The Rhinos. And we'll keep a Thoughtseize. Good old rhinoceroses. Make a few small changes like sideboard Ferocidons. Was the Amalia combo just like absolutely everywhere? When we got up there Friday and the guys I rode with were doing some of the LCQs, it was just like Amalia as far as the eye could see. They did have the Fire and Ice. Shardless, just to get another creature off the board. I don't think I'm gonna play Shadow into the Fire. I could, like, there's a reasonable chance my opponent would go 1-1 on the Shadow. That's probably not the worst idea. I'd feel really bad, though, if they, like, damaged correctly and then just killed off my Shadow. I love them playing around the counter spell I don't have. Figure that out. Okay, so we get Watery Grave, Iteration, try to find a removal spell for a Rhino. We do not currently have Delirium, and Iteration going to the yard is not giving us Delirium. By Fetch and Shock, I'm going down to 1. I do have a basic mountain in here, so let's get basic mountain, play Ragavan, pass. See if they'll like fire my Ragavan and have more Rhinos. Yeah. One of those turns where it's like, hey, I might have a chance if they just don't add more to the board. Shardless. Never mind. Re-engineered explosives is pretty hot. Like one of my biggest knocks against the Grixis shell has just been you spend all this time and all this mana like trying to imitate good card advantage, and then you don't get anywhere. You have like removal spells that don't actually kill things, and you got threats that can't attack through anything. You're so light on counter spells of any sort that like there's a pretty good chance you're just not gonna see them, or you're trying to drown in the face of like a force of negation. You know what I mean? So they kept a hand with no red or green mana. They got Lauren revealed. Double footfalls. They're drawing a Mutavault off the top. Feel like I'm about to get so punished for this. We're banking for like that one turn that they miss on having their mana available. Do not get it. We certainly have our mana available. Draw Shadow. To get to Fetch Shock, Suspender Rhinos. Mm-hmm. Like, this is kind of what I mean. You have all these super clunky card advantage spells. Your opponent's just like, all right, pay 1 mana for this. Pay no mana for this. You have to be thankful that this is 3 out of 4 Rhinos gone. Alright, what happens if we fetch and shock? We can't, right? Because if I fetch and shock, deal 6. Or fetch and shock, deal 7. They attack back. Mutavault, Shardless Agent. I guess they can't Violent Outburst. Maybe that's okay. Like, they can't attack and outburst. Now, what they can do is attack for 2. I have to attack for 2. I attack back. They animate Mutavault. Doing nothing. Ads. Their unknown cards, Mystical Dispute. Like a way to cast it too. So we show them the Verdant Catacombs, so they have to chomp. Then we just go get basic Swamp, play out Shadow, say go. Oh. They have Rhinos coming off suspend next turn. That ain't it, Chief. They got 2 in the graveyard, 1 suspended, and then 1 we know about in hand. Love to see Rhinos actually running out of Rhinos. On the draw, Ragavan's worse. Well, like, I'll take a Ragavan in my opening hand, but then I never want it after that. Mm-hmm. All right. Diego has his doghouse tournament Sunday. Didn't he just have a doghouse tournament? Could have sworn there was one like not that long ago. Or are they like every month? Every other month or so. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's I think I'm just gonna get a basic swamp. Got a bunch of fetches. I've got thought seizes. Like I'm gonna be losing my life pretty aggressively anyway. Ketria Triome. Shadow action. I'll play a shadow out into this. Feel a little frisky. They top deck. They can Brazen Borrower it into turn. That's fine. They can untap, blind draw, go for the land for Flame of Anor. That's pretty fine. They want to like spend their turn killing the shadow instead of drawing. And if they whiff, send in the Goon Squad. Don't petty theft now. Make me fetch and shock at least. Like I'm going to, but make me do it. Gonna take 4. Doing the big think. Petty theft. Why are you petty thefting my channeler? Of the things currently available, that kills you a lot slower than the other one. Sure. That'll get Shadow outside of Flame of Anor range. Go. Unless they want a Subtlety. Couldn't tell you the last time I saw Rhinos whiff this bad. That in the yard. Bell Pierce is decent. I swear they're tripling up on ads right here. You Go ahead and pass the questing druid just to get that out of the way. Nello, how's it going? So far, so good. We are 2-2 in this league. I guess technically we could have drawn a little better against Living In, but that's like minor. All in the past. Hit him for 10. Say go. All right. Do I play any other TCGs as well? Not particularly. I've checked some out here and there, but I haven't really like big time gotten into any other ones. That's a good draw. Like I've checked out Flesh and Blood, checked out Pokemon. All right, so opponent would need triple Force and Negation, triple blue card. Let's go Fatal Push. This is going to give us Delirium. There's one Force of Negation. Red, black. I really hope they have another Force Negation. We get to go to this third Terminate. That'd be hot. Do you know Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII? Or is it called Tetramasters in Final Fantasy IX? I do not. You ask me questions about Final Fantasy X and beyond, I probably gotcha. But before 10, I played, but years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago. Okay, what do we think of... Let's go back to the current list. What do we think? I thought this, like, 7 Questing Druid Expressive Iteration combo was a little mopey. It might be because with Scam and like Beanstalk less represented in the meta, we just don't really want to go that that grindy. Questing Druid worth it or clunky? I think it's really clunky because like you want to be casting it on your opponent's instep, because if you cast on your main phase, you likely don't have enough mana to really take advantage of it. So, which means you're spending an entire turn like passing with the mana up to try to Questing Druid on their turn. It kind of competes with that Bowmaster slot, and I would just rather have Bowmaster like 9 times out of 10. Kroxa was excellent. It's kind of another case of, man, I really wish we went harder on Kroxa, because that card's really pretty good. The sideboard, if Rhinos is top of the meta, these Spell Pierces need to be like some number of Flusterstorms. I really do think that Spell Pierce was in this list for Beanstalk, and once like Beanstalk got banned, Spell Pierce kind of fell out of favor. Magus. I don't know if this is a list that can really support Magus. Clearly it worked for Magic Tim winning a challenge with it, but I'm kind of skeptical. The 3E is pretty nice. Colligan's Command. Again, I think a lot of these card choices, like the Pierces, K commands, EE to an extent, were like, I'm going into this tournament expecting Scam, Beanstalk, Rhinos. So you've got overlap for Scam and, or for Rhinos and Beanstalk, Scam and Beanstalk, Rhinos. And then when Scam and Beanstalk both took a ban, I think a lot of the choices just kind of like died off. So I think we need to go kind of back to an unfair approach. But that's just my take on it.